Alright, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the other bishops of Great Millstone who were very well, very beautifully. Double salutations to the Akim and her pushing this gospel in truth and in sincerity, to the best of their ability given to them by Yahweh Bahashem Shai. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect scattered abroad. May the election of Yahweh Bahashem Shai, Lord willing, fall upon your houses. This is Brother Quanah Watt come back at you, Lord will, with the edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Shai, Lord will. It is edifying, Lord will, it is straight to the point. But I encountered a New Testament Jesus Christ, Israelite, or looked to be an Israelite, earlier today, when I was at, the park with my seed and everything like that, man. And, at first, I was doing, I was really in the middle of a lesson, man, just kind of doing a little walk around, he kind of interrupted and, was, saying what he was saying, right? Dude was ultimately talking about, we got to live for today, in the New Testament, not in the Old Testament, and so on and so forth, man, which, through the spirit, man, dude got cut up, and ultimately dipped out, and he dipped out because, when I corrected him on the name, telling him that, the letter J, wasn't, didn't come in, into on the scene until 1524 by a man named Gian Giorgino Trissino, if I said his name right, and, before that, right, it was Iusis Christus, which is, a Greek name, right? So he wasn't a Greek, right? Yahweh Shai, right, which is a true name of the Heavenly Father's only begotten Son, right, which again, who the world ignorantly calls JC, his name is Yahweh Shai, right? So Yahweh Shai, right, is a Hebrew, right? And as you see on the screen right there, this is a depiction, right, of, the Heavenly Father, right, the one sitting on the throne with the staff, as well as, a depiction of Yahweh Shai, his only begotten Son right there on his right-hand side, and again, this is a depiction, this isn't, exactly what they look like, right? We'll know that, Lord will, right, here soon, but again, this is, a more accurate, depiction rather than, what, these pagan Christians, believe in today, right? Where, Yahweh Shai, right? Who they call JC, right? Jesus Christ, looks like a so-called white man with long stringy hair, right? Really, that's an idol, right? That's a false God, man, in which people are, people are worshiping, man, right? And we know that Yahweh Bahashem Shai right here soon, right, is going to abolish, is going to destroy, all these false idols. And we'll start right here. That's Isaiah, the 2nd chapter. And we'll start at verse 12, right? The point being in verse 18, it says, "For the day of Yahweh Bahashem Shai of hosts shall be upon everyone that is proud and lofty." And we know the proud, right, is, beginning with Esau Edom, right? The self-proclaimed so-called white man. He is the proud, right? He is the wicked, as well as, you got the other nations, even 2/3 of the nation of Israel, right? You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans here in America today, right? It says, "And upon every one that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low, and upon all the cedars of Lebanon that are high and lifted up, and upon all the oaks of Bashan, and upon all the high mountains, and upon all the hills that are lifted up, and upon every high tower, and upon every fenced wall, and upon all the ships of Tarshish, and upon all pleasant pictures. And the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of man shall be made low, and the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Shai alone shall be exalted in that day, and the idols he shall utterly abolish," right? So Yahweh Bahashem Shai, is ultimately, just as he did, right, going back in the time, of ancient Egypt, right, he's going to get his name, magnified in the earth again, right? Because again, all the works that he did in ancient Egypt, right, were are still being talked about today, and again, the works that Yahweh Bahashem Shai are finna do right here on Babylon, right? Hey, when Jacob's trouble pops off, World War III, right? The deliverance is going to eclipse, ancient Egypt, man, and rightfully so, man, right? Because first and foremost, Yahweh Bahashem Shai gave us, a list of different commandments that we are to keep, right, as Israelites, man, right? And the first one is what? Not to serve any false god, which again you see, right, Jake doing, man. Let's go to that, right? In Exodus chapter 20, and I'll start at verse 3. It says, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." You know, that's plain and simple, right? Straight to the point. You know, we'll keep going. Verse 4 says, "Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth." And we know that, we know that this picture, that Esau, has got really the whole world, at one point, right? Which we know Christianity is ultimately dying out, right? Pagan Christianity is dying out. As the scriptures say, if this thing be, if this, be of men, it shall come to naught. So it's coming to naught. But nonetheless, right, this, this false image, that you see, right, which they're calling JC, right, Jesus Christ, which is supposed to be a wrongful depiction of Yahweh Shai, a really a mockery, of Yahweh Shai, man, right, making him to have long stringy hair, blue eyes, don't really have a beard on him, really making him to be some soft, creep, man, that was all, ultimately done, right, by Esau Edom, right, going back to iconoclasm, right, in the Maccabees, talking about, switching, and painting, our pictures, right, after the likeness of themselves, roughly paraphrasing, right? And this is what Jake has been getting into, serving these false gods, right? You got these, as well as other false gods, right? You got these Egyptian gods, man. You got the Greek, Zeus, Poseidon, and so on. All these different false gods, man. Hey, Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai is finna get rid of, right? Continue on. Verse 5, it says, "Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai, thy power, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, upon the unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me." That's right, man. And judgment is coming, right? Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai ain't playing. Right, just as he ultimately dished out that judgment, right, going back in the time, in the wilderness, right, coming out of Egypt, right. You even had, Jake worshiping, a golden calf in a sense, right. Let's grab that real quick. This is Exodus chapter 33, and we're gonna start at the top. Read a little bit. Exodus 33. Exodus 33 and 1, it says, and the Lord said unto Moses, Depart and go up thence, thou and the people which thou hast brought up out of the land of Egypt unto the land. Is that it? Yeah. It says, which thou hast brought up out of the land of Egypt unto the land which I swear unto Abraham and to Isaac and to Jacob, saying, Unto thy seed will I give it. And I will send an angel. Let's see. Is this it? Hold on. Salak. Oh, it was 32. Right, this is Exodus 32 in verse 1. It says that when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, Up, make us gods which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we want not what is become of him, right? Because he was ultimately going into the mount, so they got antsy, right? They ultimately were like, hey, you know what? Hey, we don't know if he's going to come back. Let's make us, a God so we can worship it, right? It says, and Aaron said unto them, break off the golden earrings which are in the ears of your wives, of your sons, and of your daughters, and bring them unto me. And all the people brake off the golden earrings which were in the ears, and brought them unto Aaron. Brought them unto Aaron, and he received them at their hand, and fashioned it with a graving tool that he might make. Verse 4, it says, and he received them at their hand, and fashioned it with a graving tool, after he had made it a molten calf. And they said, these be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. So they instead, right, they wanted a false god, right, a molten calf, to be their god, right, and they're serving false god. Hey, but the Lord don't play, right? We already read the Lord is a jealous God, and the Lord was pissed off, man, right? We're gonna jump down. And it's jumped down to verse 7. It says, and the Lord said unto Moses, go, get thee down, for thy people which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt have corrupted themselves. Right? It says, they have turned aside quickly out of the way which I commanded them. They have made them a molten calf, and have worshipped it, and have sacrificed thereunto, and said, these be thy gods, O Israel, which have brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. So they quickly forgot, right? They quickly forgot, what the Lord did for them, man. Coming across the Gulf of Suez, the Red Sea, right? That pillar of fire by day, that cloud, right? Or it's like that cloud by day, the pillar of fire by night. Jake is rebellious, man. Right? Jake is forgetful. Right? Jake is simple. That's why the Lord called him what? A sod his children. Stupid, man. Jake dumb as fuck. You've seen all those great miracles, man, and you still turn to follow after a false god. And that's Jake today, right? We're seeing all these different signs and seeing all the, the prophets, right, telling them what's going on, what's coming, right? Seeing the chariots, right? Because people are seeing some crazy sights, man. People are seeing, the angels, right, in different areas, Peru, they've seen them, in Florida, right? Different sights, right? Just shows you, right? Yahweh Shemel Shai is real, man, And again, the prophets are out here, right? The true prophets, Yahweh Shemel Shai, right, are giving you the understanding of, who's doing these things and why these things are happening, Hey, but Jake don't care, Jake is just fucking, again, stupid as hell, man, It says, verse 9, it says, and the Lord said unto Moses, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people, right? It says, now therefore let me alone, that my wrath may wax hot against them, and that I may consume them, and I will make of thee a great nation. Right? So the Lord's saying, hey, I'm finna get rid of all of them. I'm finna get rid of every single last one, right? Because they're out here worshiping false gods. That was the number one commandment that we were given. Going back, to again, Exodus the 20th chapter, right? As we read. That was the very first one that we were given, man. Not to serve any false gods. But again, Jake, quickly forget, right? They ultimately, again, that covenant was made. And Jake just immediately, just basically slapped the Lord in the face, man, with that, Hey, but Moses came to, Moses and Aaron came to our rescue, right? Verse 11, it says, and Moses besought Yahweh Bashim Shai and said, Lord, why doth thy wrath wax hot against thy people, which thou hast brought forth out of the land of Egypt with great power and with a mighty hand? Wherefore should the Egyptians, wherefore should the Egyptians speak and say, for mischief did he bring them out, to slay them in the mountains, or to consume them from off the face of the earth? Turn thy fierce wrath and repent of this evil against thy people. So he was praying to the Lord, to ultimately forgive them, man. Hey, but that's not gonna happen in this time, man. Hey, you've been warned, right? Multiple times has Jake been warned, right, not to serve these false gods, man. Not to continue to walk, in the path of pagan Christianity, right? Catholicism, right? And again, all these different, Greek philosophies, working again, following the, Kemet, following, Islam and so on and so forth. All that shit is pagan god, false god worship, man. And Jake is heavy into that shit, even today. But they're gonna have to pay. Yahweh Shemel Shai is not playing with nobody, man. Let me grab this. In Psalms, in the 16th chapter, and verse 4, it says, "Their sorrows shall be magnified that hasten after another God." Right? And when we know that Yahweh Shemel Shai is about to dish out, right, great judgment, right? Today, was the solar eclipse, right? And tonight, right, beginning tonight, this evening, all the way till tomorrow evening is the new moon, right? It's the new Sabbath that's coming in, so it's very spiritual times. Again, things are moving heavy in the spirit, man. This is right after the Passover, a couple weeks after the Passover, and things are already starting to, hit hard, man, Hey, so how much more, within the next few weeks or the next month or so, right? Anything can pop off at this moment, right? Iran, and it has attacked Israel. Things are getting heavy right now, man. So all you people that are worshiping these false gods and continue to follow these, pagan god worship, false god worship, you're ultimately gonna be put to death, man. Yahweh Shemel Shai is not playing with you, right? Especially you Israelites, man. 1 Peter 4:17, judgment must begin at the house of the Most High, right? So it means you Israelites, right? And we know that majority of you Israelites know who you are, right? Even today, man, you know who you are, right? You know you're an Israelite, but yet you choose to be rebellious, man. Because these gods ain't shit, man. These false gods that you want to continue to worship, they ain't shit, man. I'll finish this out. Psalm 16:4. "Their sorrow shall be magnified that hastened after another God. Their drink offerings of blood will I not offer, nor take up their names into my lips." Right? And I want to move to Wisdom of Solomon, the 13th chapter. Because again, it goes in on these false gods, man. Yahweh Shemel Shai ultimately, goes in on these false gods and tells you about them, right? That they ain't shit, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13, and outside of verse 1, it says, "Surely vain are all men by nature who are ignorant of the Most High, and could not out of the good things that are seen know him that is. Neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the workmaster." Right, man? None of these people, right, when they look at the clouds or they look at, how, really just nature works, right? The roots, right? How all the trees are connected and this and the third, they ultimately chuck it up to science or, evolution, this and that. They don't chuck it up to Yahweh Shemel Shai when he's the one that created all those things, man. He created it to be that way, the ecosystem in the earth and in the oceans. Right? They don't chuck that up to Yahweh Shemel Shai. They chuck it up, again, to evolution, to science, which is bullshit, man. Continue on, verse 2. It says, "But deemed either fire or wind or the swift air or the circle of the stars or the violent water or the lights of heaven to be the gods which govern the world." Right? Because they got the sun god and, the god of the planets, right? Saturn, Pluto. Rather than, again, Yahweh Shemel Shai, right? You got Poseidon, right? You got the god of water, right? The god of war, god of love, this and the third, right? You got all these different gods, pagan gods, false gods, right? It says, "With whose beauty, if they being delighted, took them to be gods, let them know how much better the Lord of them is. For the first author of beauty hath created them." Right? So Yahweh Shemel Shai, right, is the author, the first author of beauty, man. Right? And he allowed for, these idols to be created, man. It says, verse 4, it says, "But if they were astonished at their power and virtue, let them understand by them how much mightier he is that made them." Right? Again, glorifying Yahweh Shemel Shai, the Heavenly Father, right? And his only beloved begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Right? It says, "But yet," and so it's like in verse 5, it says, "For by the greatness and beauty of the creatures, proportionably the maker of them is seen. But yet for this they are the less to be blamed. For they peradventure error, seeking the Most High and desirous to find him. For being conversant in his works, they search him diligently and believe their sight, because the things are beautiful that are seen. Howbeit neither are they to be pardoned. For if they were able to know so much that they could aim at the world, how did they not sooner find out the Lord thereof? Right. Right. Looking at, everything that's been created, and you going and searching different things out. Right. You chucking it up to, any and everything except for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, keep reading, right? It says, howbeit, neither are they to be pardoned, right? It's like in verse 10, it says, but miserable are they in the dead things, and in dead things is their hope, who called them gods, which are the works of men's hands, gold and silver, to show art in and resemblance of beast, or a stone good for nothing, the work of an ancient hand, right? So, hey, again, you have all these, you got the calf, right? You got these, pictures of men, right? You got, cows, and, again, all these different rats, people are worshiping rats, serpents, right? You got, what they're calling the Bible Belt, right, in Texas, right? You get up there, man, you got all different types of worship, man, going on over there, man, all different types. And as we read, because I want to read this whole chapter, right? It's only 19 verses, so we'll get through it. But at verse 11, it says, now a carpenter that felleth timber after he hath sawn down a tree meet for the purpose, and taken off all the bark skillfully round about, and hath wrought it handsomely, and made a vessel thereof fit for the service of man's life, and after spending the refuse of his work to dress his meat, hath filled himself, right? So he's, again, ultimately cutting down the trees, right? Carving it out, doing what it needs to be done, right? And making, again, these false gods, right? It says, and taking the very refuse among those which served to no use, being a crooked piece of wood and full of knots, hath carved it diligently when he had nothing else to do, and formed it by the skill of his understanding, and fashioned it to be the image of man, right? These wooden crosses. I actually seen, a Issacharite today, on the way home, right? From the taking my seat to the park, there was a Issacharite that had a literal wood carving, of, the cross with, Caesar Borgia on it, man, because a picture of the so-called white man, right, who they call Jesus Christ, is really, it's a real person, right? His name was Caesar Borgia, that's who they, painted that, that picture after of, man, it's him, so he was ultimately, again, with the crown of thorns and nailed to the cross, like he had that whole false god, carving, so spiritual that we're reading this now, and I had seen that, laying backing on that, right? It says, verse 14, it says, or made it like some vile beast, laying it over with vermilion, and with paint coloring it red, and covering every spot therein. And when he had made a convenient room for it, set it in a wall, and made it fast with iron. And this reminds me, right, there's a restaurant that I had, ultimately tried out, which I most likely won't go back there. It was good, but, most likely won't go back there. It was a little expensive too, but it's called La Santísima, which is ultimately a, what is that? Is the goddess of the dead or something like that? I think it was. I'm not too sure, but when you walk into the building, it has that, female skull with the sombrero on, in the little dress, the little false god right there with the plate out, and it had change on it, man, just showing you, again, these people, right? They worship these false gods, and America is the land of false gods in a sense, Verse 16, it says, for he provided for it that it might not fall, knowing that it was unable to help itself, for it is an image and hath need of help, right? So it has no power, right? So then maketh he prayer for his goods, for his wife and children, and is not ashamed to speak to that which hath no life. For health he calleth upon it that which is weak. It says, for life prayeth to that which is dead. For aid humbly beseecheth that which hath least means to help, And for a good journey he asketh for of that which cannot set a foot forward. And for gaining and getting, and for good success of his hands, asketh ability to do of him that is most unable to do anything. They call law Yahweh Shemel Shah, man. Right, Yahweh Shemel Shah letting you know that, hey, you worshiping these false gods, they're not able to do anything for you. Right, so when you sin, when all hell breaks loose and Yahweh Shemel Shah brings that judgment, right, you're going to call upon these false gods, but they're not going to be able to do anything for you. You know, going back to, Elijah, right, in the 450, 400 plus, I think it's 450 if I'm mistaken, or 400, prophets of Baal, man. When they were sitting there, hey, man, they were waiting, and he was mocking them, man. Peradventure he'd be asleep or on a long journey, call louder, He was mocking the fuck out of them, man, because he knew they're their gods ain't shit, Hey, just like we doing today, hey, encouraging you people, man, keep that same energy, man. Call upon your false gods. Call upon JC. Call upon Yeshua. Call upon these Kemet gods, or these, Poseidon and Zeus, Ares and all them false gods, man. Call upon them, man. You want to continue to worship them, call upon those gods, man. But I can promise you they ain't going to listen, man, because they not real. They don't have that ability, They don't have that ability to answer your prayers, man. So you're ultimately going to be asked the fuck out, man. And I want to jump to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 14 and verse 8. It says, but that which is made with hands is cursed as well. It, right? It says, as he that made it, right? It says, but that which is made with hands is cursed as well as it. But that which is made with hands is cursed as well it as he that made it. He, because he made it, and it, because being corruptible, was called God, right? It says, for the ungodly and his ungodliness are both alike hateful unto the Most High, man, right? Which also cuts, you people that, which is a lot of you pagan Christians and so on and so forth, right? Who believe that, God is for everybody, right? Yahweh Shai is for everybody, right? Which is not true, Yahweh Shemel Shah is only for the Israelites, man. And really the elect of the nation of Israel. Anybody else, right, who is not of the elect, the Lord hates, man. Right? Because they're enemies of Yahweh Shemel Shah, man. Continuing on, verse 10, it says, for that which is made shall be punished together with him that made it. Right? Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation, because in the creature of the Most High they are become an abomination and stumbling blocks to the souls of men, and a snare to the feet of the unwise. That's right, man. Is Yahweh Shemel Shah finna get rid of all these idols and those that worship these idols, man. Right? Verse 12, it says, for the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them the corruption of life. For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever. For by the vain glory of men they entered into the world, and therefore shall they come shortly to an end. Right, man? Yahweh Shemel Shai ain't playing, man. Everything else, man, other than Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to be destroyed, and Yahweh Shemel Shai, as we read, is going to be exalted, man. And laying back on Psalms the 16th chapter, it says we're not going to ultimately associate ourselves with these false gods, man. Right, we're gonna serve Yahweh by Shemel Shai, man. King David said, I ain't even gonna, their names aren't even gonna be in my lips. Now, for edification purposes, we bring them out, right, and name these names that are false, again, so those can, those that listen, right, can identify again those names that are, false gods, and ultimately avoid them, right? But hey, we don't speak on these gods, man. We don't pray to these gods, We, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai, condemn these false gods and those that worship it, right? As we're doing in this video as well. But I want to go and jump to my last precept on the matter in Joshua, the 24th chapter and the 15th verse. And we'll end it with this. Right? This is Joshua chapter 24 and verse 15. It says, and if it seem evil unto you to serve the Yahweh by Shemel Shai, choose you this day whom you will serve,
whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. And that's what you have to do, man. Right? Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai is the only way that we're going to get out of the troubles that are coming. Again, anything could pop off at any time. Right? And you worshiping these false gods, and you ultimately going to be put to death, man. You know? Hey, so repent, you know, and follow Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. You know? With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai B'Hashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect scattered abroad. Till next time, I say shalom.